If you're looking to make your Camtasia videos more engaging, more professional, more polished, then this is the video for you. I'm not going to show you in this video how to do a basic recording. If you need to know that, watch the video that's on the screen now and that'll take you through the basics. What I'm going to try and do in this video is show you some of my favorite features, some of the best assets that are included in Camtasia that can really help to make a video polished. And that's going to be things like adding callouts onto the screen, adding background audio, and of course adding a nice ending to your video. Just to clarify something, I am a recommended TechSmith Camtasia trainer, and you will find me on their website, but I don't work for TechSmith. Simply that I've been using Camtasia since 2006, and therefore they recommend me as a trainer. Really hope you like the video, and if you do, please like it, please share it, please comment on it, and of course, most importantly of all, join me on my new project, Screencast Guru. Let's get started. So what I've got in front of me here is a kind of standard recording. I'm on the screen at the beginning, and then afterwards it just basically goes into a recording. And I guess the first thing that people are going to say to me whenever I do the training, they ask me this, Russell, how do you add a cursor? Well, what I'm going to do is show you a little trick. Hold your mouse down and select the videos where you want to add the cursor. So I don't want to add the cursor at the beginning because it's just me on the screen. But as soon as I'm doing a screen recording, I want to add the cursor. So I've selected those videos, okay, this top part here, the actual screen recording. I'm going to come over to the left. I'm going to click on more. I'm going to find cursor. Now I really don't muck around. You've got lots of choices, but I'm still a fan of the typical highlight cursor, and I drop that on. Now the big trick here is because I've selected all of those videos at the same time, it's added the cursor, and you can look over here to 4 because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 video segments. Now probably in your recording you might only have 1, but the way that I did this recording is that there are different segments. Now one tip I would give you is drop the opacity to around 60%, because that means that it's nice and clear, but you can still see what is underneath the cursor, and sometimes that's really important as well. Otherwise it just blocks out everything. So there it is, we've added the cursor now. Of course you could change the color if you wanted. Now if you want to know more about cursors, I'll put a video on the screen that you can watch now. I did a video where I went into detail about all the settings in cursors in case you'd like to take your cursors a little bit further. Now the next thing that you're probably going to want to do is add some audio. Now my recommendation to you is select everything that's on the screen, okay? So select everything. In your case it's probably just going to be one video, but in my case, the way that I record, I always do the recordings in little segments. And lift everything so that you've got this track here empty, because this is the best place to add your background audio. Now if you come up and click on media and come over to your library, so this one here, remember whatever version of Camtasia you've got, and you might have Camtasia 23 or 24 or 25, then click on the Camtasia and you should notice that you've got some audio backgrounds. Now you can actually click on these and listen to them and decide which one you like, but I'm going to just drag on this one here, driving electronic drama. So I'm going to drag that into the bottom of my video. Now one thing you'll notice, and this will often happen if you've got a long video, is that actually that audio file is not long enough. So what you're going to need to do is drag it on again, and in my case even again. I drag it on a third time, sorry I didn't do it properly there, and then what you want to do is just click on the end of that and just shorten it so it ends where the video ends. Now there's going to be a big problem because this audio is going to be very loud. So the first thing that we need to do is to reduce the volume, because remember we want this as background audio. I'll show you a couple of really nice tricks here. Number one, if you move over with your cursor, you can actually make the track, you can pull up and make that track much bigger. Okay, and there you can see the WAV file much more clearly. Now what I suggest you do as well is hold your cursor down and select all 3, in my case it's 3 bits of audio segment. So you selected all three, and now what I want to do, hold your mouse down and drag that down. I thought I could drag all three down at the same time. I can't actually do that, but anyway, that's not a problem. So I'm going to just drop that down to about 3%. Now we want to do the same with the other one, so we're going to have to do it. I thought we could do them all together, but maybe we can't. So we're going to drop this one down as well to about 3%. Okay, so you're reducing the volume right down. Okay, and then the last one as well, drag it right down to about 3%. So you've got just hopefully background noise. Now let's see if that's worked. Let's play this video and see whether now we've got audio just softly in the background. So let's play that audio and see whether or not we've got the background sound and the commentary above it. If you're a language student or a language teacher and you want to understand more about how these language tutors work that give you the chance to practice speaking your languages, I'm going to show you three. Okay, so that's worked really well. Now, if you have a recent version of Camtasia, there's one more little thing that you will be able to do. You can actually improve the quality of the audio. You can hear in the background of my recording that there's a bit of kind of background noise. We do actually have an additional button. This only will count for people with the latest version of Camtasia. It's not super important, but it's just a small thing. You've got an AI noise reduction. Now you've actually got audio noise reduction on older versions of Camtasia too, but it probably isn't as good as this one because this is the AI one. So in this case, what I would probably do is drop that onto my voice, because it's probably my voice where we've got a bit of background friction. Now let's play it again and see if that has made any difference. If you're a language student or a language teacher and you want to understand more about how these language tutors, and that definitely has improved it. So again, just to repeat, you may have earlier versions of Camtasia which are all equally as good, Camtasia 23, Camtasia 24, but yours won't necessarily be an AI noise reduction or noise removal. It just will be a standard one, but certainly worth dropping it on if you've got that kind of background noise. So we've now looked at two great features, adding a cursor and adding audio. I always think that audio really adds an extra element to the videos. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. We've got the cursor, we've got the background audio, and what we're going to do now is look at making the video more engaging by adding in features onto the video, perhaps focusing in at certain parts of the video, pointing at things on the video, drawing around things. So what we're trying to do here is really engage our viewers, and Camtasia has lots of really nice features to do that. And quickly to point out, if you want to see lots of examples of the results, in other words, videos that I've generated using Camtasia, then come over to my website, teachertrainingvideos.com, and there's tons of videos on there, and I've made all of those videos using Camtasia. And interestingly enough, there is actually a section on that website of training videos all about different features in Camtasia, and you can access that, and there's loads of videos there that you can watch. The other useful thing about the website is also that you can contact me from there. So if you are interested in me doing some training with you, either on an individual basis or with a group of participants, then you can contact me, and I do occasionally do training on location, depending of course where you are, and of course do training online as well. The last thing is there's also my YouTube course. So I have a course that I run 3 times a year where I show people how I built up my YouTube channel. So my other channel that's connected to teachertrainingvideos.com has more than 90,000 subscribers. All the videos that I made on that channel all were built using Camtasia, and you can learn in that course how I make my YouTube videos, how I built up my channel, how I make my money from my channel, etc. We're going to move on now and look at the assets features in Camtasia. There are many of them. We're going to look at some of my favorite ones. Okay, so we're going to first of all bring down by holding our mouse and pulling on that channel and bringing it back down to normal size, because we're not editing it. In fact, if you want, you could even squeeze it very small, because you won't be doing any work on that audio file anymore. And now we're going to really concentrate on the video. Now let's start with one of the most common things that I do, and that is I point at certain things. And to do that, over here on the left hand side, come to annotations. The one I really like is this one. I'll drag it onto the screen, and I'll normally point that at something that I want to kind of highlight. Now the nice thing is as well is that I can click in here and kind of add in some text. So I might say this is important. Okay, now the lovely thing about Camtasia, and then let's zoom in a bit so we can see this really a bit closer. Okay, and we can see here that asset on the screen. I've zoomed in too much, so I'm just going to zoom out. Is that if we want that to stay, so at the moment that's going to stay on the screen from there until there. If we want that to stay on the screen a lot longer, we just hold our mouse down and drag it out. We can have it on the screen until the point where we don't want it to be on the screen any longer. Okay, so that's really useful and very easy to do. And if I click on that asset, come over here on the right hand side, if you can't see this box, it's because you haven't opened your properties. So these are the properties, the things that you can change about this particular asset. Click on the asset, and you can obviously change the color of the particular asset as well. Okay, and you even got a color picker here. So if you wanted to, for example, click here and say, well, I want it to be exactly the same color as this, you can click and match the colors together. All right, so that's really, really useful. So that's one of my favorite assets to use, which is the call out. Now I'm going to show you a little tip now. This is the sort of benefit from being someone that's been using Camtasia for so long. If you come over to transitions, and the one I want you to pick on, that in fact, funny enough, I've got it open. So you're going to just make sure you've got type all and then write glow. Just drop that on, because what that does is it really opens it nicely. Watch this. Let me just watch and show you this on the screen. Yeah, I love the way it glows, and of course the same thing will happen as it disappears. Okay, just adds a little bit of class to the use of callouts. Be aware that there are loads of callouts. So if you click here, you've got this subset here at the top. For example, you've got arrows and all different types of arrows, and you've got one here that I love, which is the draw tool. Now I'm just going to demonstrate that. So get your playhead on the screen wherever you want to draw around. Let's imagine we wanted to draw around this box here. So we're going to drag the draw tool onto the screen. You need to position it, so it's going to start wherever your playhead is, pull it out to the kind of desired size. Let's just play that a minute, and now that's going to zoom around and draw there. Now that actually drew quite quickly. So what you can do, again, the properties here, so each asset that you work with will have different properties that you might extend the draw time so it doesn't draw quite so quickly. So now I've extended the draw time to 2 seconds. Watch this now. It'll be a bit slower, see? Okay. And again, I can extend when or how long I want that to stay on the screen before it disappears. Now another thing really nice is, of course, you can change the color. Now generally I go with the red, but occasionally I don't. So if you do want to change the color, you can, for example, choose the color picker, click on another color and say, well, I actually want it to be a yellow or greeny color, and now I've got the draw tool working in that color. So that's another feature that I often use as a way of attracting the audience. So what I want to show you now is probably the most requested asset that I'm asked about, or the most requested feature in Camtasia that I'm asked about: how to zoom in on the screen and how to zoom out. And we're going to try and do an example. So we've got our playhead at this position here, and what I want you to do is to come down to animations. You might have to click on more to find it. So I've got animations, and then what I want you to do is click on zoom and pan. Now what I want you to do now is just drag this to zoom in. So we're going to zoom in from this point. We're going to zoom in right into that area there. Now what you can do is kind of use this little viewer finder here and make sure that you center that. Okay, so the result of that will be, now if we play that video, this really looks good, it will zoom in into that area. Okay, now if it's doing it too fast, what you can do is just drag it out and say, well, actually it's going a bit fast. I'm just going to make that, going to drag that out and make that kind of zoom out a little bit further. Okay, so now what we're going to do, let's just watch that again. We'll come in again. If we play the video, Nice. So we're coming nice and close. Now let's imagine that we kind of here and talking away, and now we want to zoom out again. All we need to do is click on scale to fit, and it will zoom back out. And now the result of that will be that we zoom in, blah, 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 and then we zoom out again. Okay, and that's really nice, and it kind of does it at a nice rhythm. Remember, if you want to make that prolonged, you can kind of drag it out, okay, and make it a little bit long. Oh, sorry, I've got that one selected, so let me undo that. Just make sure in this case that you've got the two channels selected, and you just pull that out and they'll move together. In fact, in all honesty, this background here, I could have just locked that because we don't really need to zoom this channel. I could have just chosen this channel. There's no need to do anything on this channel that's behind, because this is just that little background color that's created by Camtasia Rev, but it's not important really either way. It's still going to work perfectly. Now that is really nice feature, and it's one that I use really a lot. Okay, so you saw there some of the best Camtasia features, the ones that I use the most. Don't forget, if you're finding the video useful, please like it and even think about subscribing to my channel, because it really helps me. What we're going to do now is move on and look at the library assets. Now, I'm going to use one particular asset to end the video, so we got a nice ending, but actually there are masses of library assets available. They're all free, they come with Camtasia. And if you want to learn about the library assets, watch the video that's on the screen now. And there have been library assets in Camtasia for quite a long time. I think even far back as Camtasia 2022, certainly 23, 24, 25, all got library assets that you can make use of. So let's look at then using some of the library assets to add a really nice ending to our video. Okay, so what we're going to do is come over here to the left hand side, come up to the top, click on media, come over to your library assets. Remember, I've said to you that there are library assets in at least the last 3 versions. I'm going to use Camtasia 25 because that's the one that I'm using, and I'm going to close down the audio assets because we're not going to work with those. And what we're going to do, the one that I really like, if we just scroll down to the bottom here, is titles. This is a great way of ending your video. Now there's loads of different titles, and you have to look through and decide which one you like. And in fact, if I remember rightly, if you double click, can even quickly see what it's going to look like. Okay, now this is a great one to end. Okay, and I'm going to use this one, so I'm going to just drag that on to the end of the video. Okay, and now all I need to do is come over to the side here and change the text. Now I've got loads and loads of flexibility here. I could even change, you know, the type of font and the color, and if it's bold, and the size, etc. And often the size is too big. So in that case, what you would probably do is say, right, well, I actually just click on here and say, I want this to be 300. Okay, and that's only going to change the first title. So I'm going to say, thank you. Okay, so I've done title 1, so I'm going to close that now. So that's the first one. I'm going to come to the second one, and then I'm just going to do the same thing again. In fact, this one I'll leave it, and I'm just going to add in this so that I've got kind of like an and sign there. And then I'll do this one as well, and I'm going to say click that, delete that, and say goodbye. And what I'm going to do is also resize that one. So I'm going to click here to resize that one again. Just click on here and write 300. Now let's see what that looks like. Okay, so I've not changed the colors or anything, but let's hopefully it's going to look all right. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to play that, come to the end, and then hopefully we're going to get thank you and goodbye. Now it's not very good because I used a $sign. That's not what I was planning. Sorry about that. So let's see if I can get the right one. Yeah, this is the one I wanted. Press enter to make that change, and there you get it. Thank you and goodbye. Now there are tons of assets. There's tons of ways of working with these assets. That one there has got, you know, 3 different titles, but some of them are just one title, and it's worth looking through and deciding on the one that you like. Look, there's absolutely loads. And the other thing is as well, remember that you can always play around and click and, you know, change the colors, change the font, etc. You've got all of those options as well. Okay, but that's a really quick way of basically finishing off the video. Okay, really hope you liked that video, and as I said before, please come over to teachertrainingvideos.com. There is a whole section on using Camtasia. Remember, I am actually a TechSmith Camtasia recommended trainer. And remember, you can contact me if you would like some training either with you as an individual or with your organization. And however members, I do run online training, and I do even run sometimes face-to-face training depending on the country. Finally, if you're interested in building up a YouTube channel, because that's what I use predominantly, I use Camtasia for, that is to build up my YouTube channel and make videos on my YouTube channel. And as you can probably see, if you visit teachertrainingvideos.com YouTube channel, I've got more than 80,000 subscribers. How did I do that? I do run a course. You can put your name on the waiting list. You can see it on the front page there. You can sign up, and then the next time that I'm running that course, I'll let you know. It's a course where basically in 2 hours I explain everything. So it's not a long course, it's a webinar where I go through the whole process. I tell you exactly everything that you need to know, and it's going to save you hours and hours and hours of study. That's how I learned, watching many videos on YouTube and doing various courses. I literally summarize everything so you know what I did to get to 80,000 subscribers. I'm going to leave some more videos on the screen now that you might find interesting, and thank you very much.